Hi, my name is Christell Foote. I am your current Miss U.S. Virgin Islands Cosmo, and this is my interview with the Pageant Project.
Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project. I have Christell with me, who's a familiar face. I'll just begin by reading out her bio if you don't know who she is. Christell is a reigning Miss Cosmo U.S. Virgin Islands and a pageant competitor who has earned top 5 placements at 3 different national pageants before taking her journey to the international stage. Passionate about empowering young people through education, Christell advocates for youth to pursue their dreams and academic goals. She is currently earning her MBA while balancing a professional career and leading her footwear company, Footewear, that's with an E as in her name, which was founded to help women stand tall with confidence. Christell, welcome back. How are you?
Hi, I'm so excited to be back. I just had the best time the first time. Might as well run it back.
I should have just waited for you to make a return to pageants, and then we could have rolled them into one. So you did say you thought you had one left in you, so you were right. What brings you back? Why did you decide to dip your feet back into this crazy world?
I feel like I couldn't end my career with a first runner-up. Like, you just itch for a little more, right? With that feeling of the holding hands at the end, and you open your eyes and you're like, oh, okay, so what's next? And so I took a beat to decide what was next, what system was right for me, what next step was there, but I knew it was another pageant at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, you said that you thought you had one left in you, so you weren't fibbing too badly, as opposed to these people who say they're done, they're retired, and then open casting call comes around and suddenly all these unretirements miraculously happen. Why don't you? I think we chatted maybe about a year ago. I honestly don't remember, but why don't you catch us up with what's been happening in your life since last time we chatted?
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's almost been a year. So about a year ago, at the end of the month, actually, like June 28th, I launched Footwear by Christell, my last name being Foot with the E at the end, like you mentioned. And that 1 year anniversary coming up is so surreal, but we were talking more business mindset over being a title holder. And so now I am a title holder with a business coinciding together and learning how to navigate and time manage all of that, which is very fun while also having a professional career. But I am super excited to head to Vietnam later this year and compete internationally and, just see what unfolds before me with this experience.
And just to clarify, you don't have exact dates for the competition yet.
No, they'll announce soon. There's 16 girls crowned so far in my class. So I'm one of 16 countries that are crowned. So we're still early in the season for Cosmo.
Yeah, I mean, with about 5 or 6 months to go, I'm sure many others will be added to that. I want you to tell the people watching at home. I know you're a title holder this time, and we'll go into that. But it's not like being a title holder and being a business owner are two completely separate things. I think for you especially, it's interwoven in your DNA, especially since you've added MBA. I don't think you were doing an MBA last time we spoke. So clearly you had too much. Did you feel you had too much time on your hands? So you've re-entered the world of pageantry and you're studying for an MBA. Did you just feel like I have too much free time? Is that what the problem was?
I think I just don't like to sleep, honestly. I like having a lot on my plate. A full plate makes me happy, yes, with food, but also with all my activities. And so I was just itching for something more. And I always have valued my education. It was such an honor to be able to graduate undergrad and doing so debt free through different scholarship opportunities. And so being able to pursue higher education again to get my master's. I'm super excited to go down this path. So I just finished my first trimester. So I'm studying through the University of Puerto Rico. My program is actually a bilingual program in Spanish and English. And that has been super fun to navigate because I studied Spanish in undergraduate, but it's been a few years since then. And so I've been having to relearn a language and doing so while in class, taking exams. I took all my final exams this past week, so I'm officially on summer break, which is very nice.
So how is your Spanish? Was it rusty? I assume it's better now than it was at the beginning of the trimester.
Yes, I feel back. I feel like I'm operating at 100% again. I definitely bought it's not the classic yellow covered book that's Spanish for Dummies, but I bought a book similar to that on Amazon to help me get back in the flow of things. But I feel like my comprehension skills were always there, right? Like listening, okay, I understand what you're saying, but the speaking and the
Yeah.
grammar, getting back in that has been fun. But I'm excited to get into my second trimester this August.
Could I trouble you to do a short introduction in Spanish just so we can hear it?
Adrian,
That's a no, isn't it? Like, I don't
I
want to
may
embarrass myself.
I may rain check that one and I'll send you a lovely video after the fact. I'll put the southern twang away.
Okay, the Southern Twang. The MBA. So, can you walk us through? I know education is important to you, and we might go back and delve into the reasons why that's important to you. Because I'm not going to assume that everyone is familiar with your story or that everyone watched the previous interview. But also, an MBA, I think, is fascinating for yourself being an established business owner with footwear. I think sometimes people go into MBA and they haven't started a business, but I think it's different when you have started the business and then you take on the education. But why don't you just reaffirm for the people watching at home live on the replay, why is education such an important facet of who you are?
I'm someone that one of my insecurities when I walk into a room is I don't want to feel like I am unaware of what's going on. I hate the feeling of being like confused. Like I want to be intelligent and like you could do that without going to school, right? But having access to higher education or just any type of education that whether it be informal, right, taking a course online, doesn't have to be through a formal institution. I think we really need to take advantage of those resources given to us because not every country around the world has that opportunity and we're so blessed and fortunate in the US to have those opportunities. So for me, knowing that I was the first woman in my family to go to college, it was really important to me and to have that degree, but also just knowing the opportunities and doors it would open for me after because in the workforce it isn't an even playing field for women, and so making sure that I am educated, have those extra letters at the end of my name of BBA, BS, MBA, whatever it is, right? I think it's so important because women were already starting a step behind, and so playing catch up, making sure we're educated, and I don't know, I just really value that, and I think that there's so many opportunities out there for people to become more educated and they shouldn't be afraid of it. And in Tennessee, specifically, when I was growing up there before moving, I was introduced to the Hope Scholarship, where you actually can attend college for free and in the state of Tennessee and Georgia. And so that opportunity, why would someone not take that? And I don't want someone to be
Mm.
afraid to go out there and take it. There's other states that offer these type of scholarships as well. And I want to just encourage young girls and boys out there to continue to learn and grow because you never know what's out there for you if you could just continue to develop yourself.
Remind me, what was your undergrad in?
Marketing in Spanish. I went to
Marketing.
the Yes, I went to the University of Georgia, go Dogs, and so that's where that Hope Scholarship was available to me, and it's funded by the state lottery. So I know Florida also has it with Bright Futures, same in Kentucky, they call it Keys. A lot of states have these lottery-funded state scholarships where
Right.
they want you to continue your education and give you the tools to be able to make it more accessible.
Did you always have an interest in business? Because you said you studied the marketing side of it and now you're doing your MBA. And in between those two, you started footwear. Did you always have this sort of mindset that one day I'm going to start a business of my own?
It's so funny you say that because re-entering the pageant space the past few months, I have all these also my competing now for like 9 years, and I saw my very first bio sheet when I was entering as a teen. And right as a teen, I'm in high school still, and they're like, "What are your career aspirations?" And I had written on it in 2017 that I wanted to go into politics. And
Okay.
I I literally don't know. I mean, I remember that time in my life that I was like, "Oh, yes, I could be a senator one day. I could be this. I could be on the board of education." And I I think I just loved the political climate at the time. I don't know what it was, but it's so funny that I took one political science class in undergrad, hated it, and I was like, "Okay, why did I ever think I could be a politician?" Or not even think, but wanted to be. So funny to see that into where I ended up, but my whole time in undergrad, my intended major was in the business school with marketing, and I think I've always had just this creative mindset of an eye for branding on top of
Yeah.
it. Yes, that branding is within marketing, but you have to think my whole life I've had to learn how to brand myself, right? Because I've been signed with a modeling agency since age 11. Okay, so then you're branding yourself to these clients wanting to get booked with that. Okay, then pageantry, you're branding yourself to these judges to show that you'd be the best representation of this organization. And then now,
Yeah.
even I work in sales professionally. How can I brand and package this to make it the best item for you or for your company, for your client? And so I think it always, that entrepreneurship was always just in me. And so I turned it around and actually made a product out of those ideas.
So just to clarify, is the politics goal, is that put on the back burner or is that just dead? Because I mean, we still haven't had a female president. And Crystal for president has a nice ring to me, and he certainly would be imposing enough behind a lectern. But are we saying that our presidential campaign is shelved like indefinitely for now?
I think it's shelved. I think there's dust on the shelf. I think the book can't be found.
Okay. I mean, look, if you were to bring it back out, I think it would be amazing. I mean, being in pageants long enough, you would know. I mean, politics, it seems like half the people in the world will immediately hate you. And in many ways, pageantry seems like it's good preparation for that because you cop a lot of criticism in pageants. Tell me more about the MBA. So, what made you decide to take one on? Because you already started the business, and obviously, a lot of people know about it. Last time we chatted, we were talking about it, and I'll get you to describe a little bit about footwear as well.
Mhm.
Why don't we do that, and then we'll go into why the MBA.
Yeah, so with footwear, my shoe brand, I saw a gap in the pageant market of not having a size 12 shoe, which I am most of the time. And I was like, I also am spending so much money in this space on so many things that I can't transfer into other parts of my life, because why am I going to be wearing a 7-inch heel? A, because I'm over 6 feet tall, so I don't need to. And B, in another aspect of my life. And so, yes, some girls I understand wanting to wear the platform heel, but for me, I didn't see that as necessary. And you're, like I said, investing so much already in this space. So I wanted to make a heel with no platform on it that was comfortable, that made it easy to get on and off your foot quickly for those side stage quick changes. Or if you're wearing this shoe to the office because it is a reasonable height and you
Mm,
can wear it out with your girlfriends too, you can wear it to dinner with your parents, you can wear it all over the place, and you're spending under $200 on this beautifully made heel, if I do say so myself, that is more than just for the pageant stage. And so I wanted to make something that made sense for pageant girls for them to have in their everyday life too, with size inclusivity. So I created footwear.
and I'll get you to remind people. So you already mentioned your height, so
Mhm.
that's part of it. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's why you're wearing size 12 shoes because you're well over 6 foot tall. I remember last time we were talking about the design process. I don't know if you remember this, but the design process of your shoe, and I think you mentioned at one point you just wore it everywhere. And then when you were competing at, I think, Miss U.S. International, you mentioned that you competed there and no blisters to be found. So do you want to just run people through the design process you went through? Because I think that's a point of differentiation with footwear, being a pageant girl yourself.
Yeah. So you're rehearsing long hours. all these girls are probably getting blisters, but I wanted to make sure that my shoe was blister proof, that by the end of the day, the ball of your foot wasn't on fire, aching, and that the heel of your foot had enough cushion too, right? We need comfort. They always say beauty is pain, but we need beauty to be over pain in this instance.
Yeah.
And so I had all these in mind when designing the shoe. And then, as I mentioned, for the quickness on and off with the shoe, there's actually a little piece of elastic with the hook and eye in the back so that when you are taking the shoe off, once you set it to the hook and eye to where your heel needs to be, then you can just simply stretch it on and off and you have the ease of that. And I think that's great, especially like I mentioned, if you're going home from the office and you just want to put your slides on to walk to your car to the office, slip your heels off, put them in your tote, go out to the car. I mean, there's a lot of versatility with it.
And for people, so I'll put the link to the footwear store below. So it's FOOTEWEAR.store. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely. That's my website you could shop at. I have my brand story there too. I have 3 colors. So the shoe itself is called the glass slipper because I wanted it to be clear so it could go with everything. And then it also has a clear with a rose gold and a clear with a tan. And I hope to come out with more colors. That's the goal for year 2, right? I gotta get to year 1 close with the bow first before expanding. But it's been really cool this past year seeing girls compete in my shoes. Last time I spoke with you, I was competing in them to test them
Yeah.
out. I'd given them to a friend for her to test them out. And now to see girls with their own hard-earned money buy a pair of shoes and be wearing them to the pageant, oh my gosh, it warms my heart. I literally almost cry every time I see it. For example, this past weekend, Miss Oklahoma, she
Saw
was
that. Yeah.
yeah, she was crowning her next girl, and oh my gosh, she was wearing my heels. She was wearing them backstage. She was wearing them the whole weekend. And the fact that she just, I literally can't even put it into words as I just mumbled over my words, just how excited it makes me. And to see people genuinely care to post a picture in them or to wear them and not tag me. Like, I don't need to be tagged in everything because I
Yeah.
know then that you genuinely love it and that you're just wearing it for leisure. Like, oh, that makes me so happy.
It is. I'm not going to equate what I've done with what you've done, but you have your shoes and then you find people wearing them. When I published you bought my book, and
Mhm.
then other people like Bailey Guy, who's also from Tennessee. I don't know if you know Bailey. I think she's competing at
Yeah.
Miss Tennessee as we speak. And then she bought it. I'm like, you two aren't beginners. Like, but it's so cool to me when you see, and I don't know if this is the same emotion that you were describing, but it's like, that's really cool that
Mhm.
someone who doesn't actually know me or doesn't know me that well actually thought the product was worth buying in and of itself, and then they're reading it, and in your case recommending it and Bailey recommending it. Is that kind of the same sort of emotion you have when you see someone who's wearing your shoes and you didn't know that they had bought them?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, knowing that someone took the time and effort to go through the whole process, like add to cart, put your information in, and have it be shipped to you, it's surreal, right? Because I was just talking to you about the design and how I had all these prototypes, right? And to know that it got to a final version and is on someone's foot and that they're wearing it for hours and hours a day, just how I was when I was designing it, it's super awesome.
Run people through how long that design process took just quickly, because it wasn't like you got the first prototype back and it was perfect right out of the box, right?
Yeah. So the conversations with footwear all started in September of 24. I got my first sample January 25. And from there, multiple different samples until I was happy until the last minute, but in like May. And then I was like, all right, let's mass order so I can get these out while I'm still Miss Tennessee USA and hopefully get some free marketing behind that.
Do you still have those old samples, like the ones that didn't ever see the light of day? Do you still have them, or did you just chuck them out?
Oh, I still have them. It's like an archi it's I don't even know what I want to say.
Put it
It's
in a
it's
museum. That's
history. It's history for a museum. Yes.
history. It's history. Now you began your MBA, so you just finished your first trimester. Why did you decide to? Not that there's anything wrong with it, but obviously you've started. a business. It's doing well. You already have an undergrad in marketing. Why add an MBA on top?
Everything I've done this past year with footwear has been self-taught already, right? I learned in undergrad, I did learn, right? But I didn't learn how to put together a business. I was watching YouTube videos or TikTok videos this past year and a half of figuring out, oh, how do you file this? Or, oh, what platform is the best to build a website on, website coding, all those things. So there's been me, myself, and I, and the help of my family. And I think there's still so much to learn. Like I said earlier, I really value learning. I love learning. I don't think we'll ever stop learning every day. I have that open mindset. And I knew there was more to learn about entrepreneurship. And so I wanted to do it in a more formal capacity. And then also, that accreditation behind it, I think does matter. I think those labels matter to a certain point in our world still. And so I think going through that formal route of the master's degree, I was A, looking forward to it, and B, I thought I needed it. And I've been loving it. So again, it's not like I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I've been really enjoying it.
You learned how to start footwear from watching TikToks. That's slightly scary, but okay.
No, I say that more so I'd say website design and stuff. There's so many
Yeah.
different there's so many different ways to build a website, and that definitely was the most time consuming was the building of the website. So I definitely was seeing things on TikTok and YouTube, getting advice.
Yeah, designing a website is not my favorite thing to do. It can be quite aggravating, even as someone who's in tech. Sometimes it just doesn't do what you wanted it to do. You finished your first trimester, so what subjects did you take?
I was in advanced statistics, and that was quite fun. I actually have here that I had to pull one of these out again. A financial calculator. And then I was in an advanced administration course, and specifically talking about being on a team and working together, like just collaboration overall. And so the course, everything was mainly group work for that class. And I definitely learned a lot from my peers because we're all from different industries. So,
Mm.
for example, someone in my group works for Procter and Gamble, and I think
Oh
that's
wow,
super
okay.
cool. So a lot of
Yeah,
different backgrounds in my cohort, and I've been learning from my peers as well.
wow. You said you had advanced statistics, and you said that was fun. Were you serious, or was that a joke? Because most people don't like statistics.
So, joke and serious all in one, because I think I laugh because I do enjoy math and people think that's funny, and so I just laugh with them. But it's definitely challenging. However, I'm
Yeah,
a numbers person at the end of the day. I have that type A analytical mindset,
right.
so I enjoy it because I like a concrete answer, no wishy-washy answer.
Oh, okay. I get that part of it. I'm a numbers person. This is why I don't like essay writing because it's never right or wrong. It's just like shades of grey, and that confounds me. Um, just on the MBA side of things, so you've got footwear. You started footwear. You've been in the pageant world for, well, I don't want to say a long time because I don't want to make it sound like you've been doing it for, but
Oh
you
my
know your
gosh, I'm so old.
experience. Let's call you seasoned or a veteran. I don't know if that's any better. You got the MBA. You're going to compete overseas, as we said, in Vietnam towards the end of this year. Paint a picture. We'll go into the pageant side of things in a sec. But where would you like to see footwear? Are you going to? I mean, you mentioned adding extra colors and I'm sure extra styles. Have you given any thought to? Oh, I don't want it to just be a footwear brand. Maybe I could expand it into. Because I imagine if you designed a shoe, you could probably quite easily design other things. I mean, how far out have you taken the vision for footwear or your business? Even maybe it's a separate business.
Yeah, I see it as purely shoes. That is my favorite accessory for every outfit at the end of the day. And I think building a brand around shoes is something I will always be passionate about. I'll never get bored with. And so the dream is, yes, have more styles, have more colors, make it more than just these three SKUs. I think I'm still in the early stages. I'm a little hard on myself sometimes. I want to be bigger than what I am right now, but I need to
Yeah.
remind myself I haven't hit a year yet. It's about to be, but I haven't hit a year of live sales yet. And I need to be patient because I have a lot of ideas, but those ideas take capital and we're still growing that capital. And I'm realistic in that sense. But I definitely, in a perfect world, would love to see my shoe at a department store, right? Not just in
Yeah.
the e-commerce space. So I'm thinking big, but I need to slowly get there.
Okay. All right. I get the sense that patience is a bit of a problem, which it is for a lot of pageant girls. You mentioned SKUs just off the top of your head. Do you know what SKUs stands for?
That's a great question.
I'm just thinking now. It's SKUs. If you don't know, it's like SKU. They're like the unique product identifiers, right?
Right.
But I've never given any thought to what SKU stands for. Anyway, as an Australian who doesn't know much about the US, can you explain to me what the US Virgin Islands is and how it's distinct from the USA?
Yes. So I know we were speaking a little earlier about this, but geographically, territory of the U.S. is Puerto Rico, so right south of Florida. And then if you go east from there, there's the U.S. Virgin Islands. So the most popular, I'd say, is St. Thomas. They have the biggest airport, but there's
Oh, yeah.
St. John, St. Kitts, but there's a lot of cruise ports there. And you can be everyone that is there is a U.S. citizen. So you can travel there from the U.S. without a passport because it is a territory of the U.S. So I think it's really awesome to expand like the tourism industry for the U.S. Helping with the economy and tourism. I hope to do that as Miss USVI, right, and promoting the islands and having people go there. I'm excited to continue to promote the USVIs throughout this year. And then something else too that resonates with me is although the USVIs are a part of the United States, they are seen as secondary sometimes when it comes to funding. And so I am working on putting together a school supply drive for back to school here in the next month or so, making sure that, especially in St. Thomas, where it's been hit by hurricanes the most the past few years, that they're ready to go with school supplies for this upcoming school year and that those kids are set up for success.
Right. So if I imagine that you'll announce that on your social media, but if people want to get involved with that, I assume message you.
Yes, definitely message me. My personal Instagram is my first name dot last name and then the Miss Cosmo U.S. page as well.
Right. What was it like re-entering the pageant world? I mean, you weren't gone for a super long time, but I mean, you did have a brief, let's call it a hiatus. What was it
Mhm.
like coming back? Was it like putting on an old comfortable shoe, or did you feel like a bit out of practice? I mean, you still got, probably 4, 5, 6 months before you have to compete. But what was it like?
I think so. Last summer, July 6th was when I retired. That was the last night. And I think I took the rest of the summer to really reflect and which I know sounds cheesy and cliche, but it was true. Like it had been 8 years of nonstop at that point of I'd never had a down season of okay, what's next? It was always on my mind. And so taking those few months, even though it was just a few months, to just sit and be with myself. I think I learned that I'm antsy and I like my plate full, as I mentioned, but also that I was so grateful for all the experiences I was able to have through pageantry. And I really grew into who I am today through competing because I think if I never would have competed, I wouldn't be as confident as I am now, as willing and able to speak with others and open up with others, being vulnerable in a public space. But overall, I met amazing people throughout the entirety of it that I'll have bridesmaids in my wedding. I have mentors for life. I have second mothers, aunts, uncles, you name it. I feel like a second family almost, especially since I'm an only child. So I feel like I've just gained a sisterhood. But I was very antsy, and so I was ready to come back. I think when I was deciding to come back to, I did look at going back to the U.S. international system. But something just drew me to Cosmo. I watched it online in December, and Yolina USA actually won Miss Cosmo the entirety of it. And just seeing this small town girl from Illinois go and win the whole thing was really inspiring. And it just made me fall in love with everything she stood for. And I continued to watch her reign. And I was like, wow, I could see myself being a part of this organization. And then I was so grateful to Nakia, my director, for reaching out to me about that they were having a casting call for this title.
Yeah.
And I think that was a sign within itself, which her and I have never talked about, but I was kind of lost with what I was going to do next. And I think seeing the casting call for this title was just the light ahead that I needed to take that path.
How difficult was it to twist your arm to submit for the casting call? Doesn't sound like it was super difficult.
I I applied, like, full stop. I applied, like, no hesitation. However, it wasn't like, okay, you're gonna apply and you're gonna get it. I had to go through uh intense interview process. I did a walking and everything for her and her board, and I wasn't for sure going to be receiving this title, right? And so through that process, I was like, okay, what's my backup plan? What's my backup plan? Because I want to compete. Like at that point, I'm like, I am competing this season. So if this doesn't work out for me, what's next?
Just bear in mind that you said you had retired on July 6th, so you seem to about course very, very quickly and very with a lot of determination. I don't think I asked you this last time, so we might as well go there. You mentioned how you've grown through pageantry. The stereotype from having worked with a lot of young women as a tennis coach formerly, and now obviously doing pageants, if you are super tall as you are, and I don't know when you got tall, but if you're super tall during school, as a girl, very often it's not seen as a great thing because you're standing out over everyone, you're towering over everyone. Like if you're a guy, I think it's different. I was 6 foot tall at the age of 12. And so for me, it was great. But a lot of the young women I work with who were tall, they sort of had the slumped shoulders and it was not seen as a great thing. They don't want to stand out. And then you mentioned that you entered pageants, as a teen. What what was it like growing up in school, and did that lead you to pageantry at all?
I don't think they were connected at all, unfortunately, because I grew up watching Miss USA every year, not knowing it was something that was attainable for me. And
Right.
so I was disassociated from it. I was just a fan, to be honest. But when it came to growing up and being 6 foot tall in eighth grade, that's when I hit 6 feet. It was really hard. The name calling was at the max in middle school because my last name is Foot. That doesn't help, being called Bigfoot. I was used to that. I think too, because I was growing so quickly, I had a hard time keeping up my weight with it as well. And so
Mm.
people thought I was sick at one point. There were terrible kids spreading rumors about me at school. At one point, the bullying was so bad, I was eating in the nurse's office for lunch every day because I didn't feel comfortable going to the cafeteria. So that was a lot, but I laugh about it now because look at where I am. But it was definitely a lot. And I wish I had found out about pageantry sooner to help find that inner confidence I maybe needed, or to be around
Mm.
young girls that had that confidence that I could look up to or admire, because I think that's what I was just looking for in middle school, was someone to look up to, because A, quite literally, I had no one to look up to, and B, I was lost. And so when I got into high school, I was figuring myself out still. And then it wasn't until my senior year of high school that I entered my first pageant. But what pushed me in that direction is I still will never know. I got a letter in the mail. Someone had referred me that you should compete in Miss Tennessee Teen USA. And I entered into the pageant 3 weeks before the pageant. And I loved it. I will fully always recommend that a teen competing to go into their first teen pageant without a coach. I know
Mhm.
coaches out there, yourself included, maybe, are screaming
No, no,
no at the
no, no,
screen
no,
right
no,
now, but
no, no, no. In my book, you know this, that one of the says is
yeah,
one of the is, do you need a coach? And the first word is no, you don't.
no,
So
yeah.
no, keep going.
So, but I just fully was able to be Christell that whole weekend and figure out who I was around all these inspiring young women that were like minded like me, that we were all very ambitious, at that point looking at applying to colleges. We had all taken our ACTs, SATs, and I was just so joyous in that space of women uplifting women. And we are all 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, and so to leave that weekend how I felt, I was like, this is where I'm meant to be. I wish I had found it sooner, but I found, I think, at the right time where I was confident enough to step into that space and be able to leave it feeling even more confident and able to spread a message of hope.
I mean, you mentioned you entered with only 3 weeks before the pageant. Did you have any expectations as to what your pageant journey was going to be like?
No, because at that point I had only watched Miss USA on television. I had seen a few episodes of Honey Boo Boo. I don't know if you know what that is.
I've heard of that. Yes, I wouldn't say that
And
had been a real experience.
yeah, and so I really went into it blind. And so literally for the interview portion of the teen division, I wore a suit. I did not know that you can wear your little Sherry Hill cocktail dress, right? And be all cutesy. No, I wore loafers, black dress slacks, and a button up.
Okay.
Yep. And so I'm sitting there in the hallway looking all around all these girls. I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone just looks so beautiful. Why do I look like this next to them? But I went in the interview room, I talked to them. Apparently they liked me because I got top 5 on my first pageant ever. And there was over 70 girls I was competing against. And I was like, well, I did something right, right?
Do you think you made top 5 because of the loafers, or maybe it was something else?
I think it was just the authenticity. I didn't have any script I needed to go by, anything I needed to make sure I said. And at that point, I had been modeling quite a bit already. So I had a runway walk, and that is
Yeah.
very different than a pageant walk, but still I had the stability to be able to walk in heels or have stage presence in that sense. I also was doing ballet, so I had the posture. So I think a lot of the stage presence came naturally. And then in the interview room, I'm not afraid to talk to people. So I just said what I wanted to say.
What beat you? It seemed like you caught the pageant bug pretty bad. So that was your first experience. Sounded like you had a really good fun time. You said you didn't have a coach. You entered with 3 weeks to go. So how soon after that did you get bit, and what bit you? Was it the interviewing? Was it the getting to chat? Was it getting to be surrounded by other like-minded women?
I think two things from that weekend stuck with me. One being the girl that won Miss Tennessee Teen USA 2018, Sophie, she was 6'2". So we were the same height at the time. And so seeing another tall girl, a tall girl my age at that moment too,
Yeah.
like I hadn't met. And so her and I were hip to hip all weekend, really getting to know each other, the sisterhood aspect of it. And then seeing her win made me so happy. Like there's no envy or jealousy at all. I was so unprepared myself. And funny enough, it was her first pageant too. And so I
Oh wow.
think
Okay.
just just divine perfect timing. I was meant to meet Sophie that weekend, and I think she instilled confidence in me that she probably doesn't even realize. I haven't got to talk to her about that honestly, but I think that, and then to Miss Kim Greenwood, the director of Greenwood Productions, she does a very private, informal speech to all her contestants to start the weekend off. She does it every year. It's a little different, and it comes from the heart. And I just don't want to share her magic sauce, but she says things that you really you leave thinking about, like, how are you going to make an impact in your community, even if you don't walk away with this crown. And if it's not in your community, one person's life, your classroom,
Yeah.
your parents, just making an impact overall and having just a heart of gold at the end of the day. I'm still so impressed with Miss Kim, and I will always see her as a mentor.
What did your parents think of you entering the pageant? You mentioned that middle school was pretty rough by the sounds of it, so you were eating in the nurse's office. I imagine that your parents maybe knew something about this. I don't know exactly how much I knew, but they must have been pretty concerned about you being an only child and you're tall and you're getting bullied. What what did they think about you entering pageants? Were they scared? Were they, yes, go, that's amazing? What reaction did they have to it?
My parents, I think, love anything I love, and so when I said I wanted to do it, they're like, "All right, we're aboard the train. Let's go, choo choo, to Miss Teen USA. Let's do it." And so they never had a moment of hesitation of saying, like, "Do you really want to do this?" Like I said, "I think I want to do it." They're like, "You should do it." They're supportive in that way of everything I want to do.
Right. Is your dad still packaging up the shoes for you?
He is. He I never ended up getting those little slips made of like, "This was packed by Crystal's dad, thanks for ordering." I should, but, he's still there, my little I call him my COO, Chief of Operations Officer.
Think you should call him your CPO, the chief packing officer, by the sounds of it. You should have like a 24/7 feed of him putting. I don't know. Think I should ask you how. I was going to ask you where the shoes are, but that just sounds absolutely terrible because then someone can go there and nick a whole bunch of shoes. But shout out to Dad. He's. Do you pack any of the shoes yourself, or is it your dad who's doing all the packing?
I do when I am at home where the shoes are located in that area. Because I'm in Miami, so it's hard for me to get to where the shoes are.
That's fair. Yeah. Do you put a little like autograph card in or something when you're the one who's packing it, or so that people will know when they get like who packed the shoe?
No, you have all these great ideas, but I just need to commit to one and do it.
I mean, look, I mean, people buying your shoe, I think there's a better than even chance they know who you are. So I just thought it'd be cool to know this one was packed by Crystal's dad. This one was packed by Crystal herself. Does your mum ever get in on the packing either?
No, I think that's dad's job, like official. Mitchell does the packing.
Right. That's fair enough. Tell people what you do for a living, because outside of all of this, I mean, you mentioned your auntie. You also have a full time job. What does your
Mhm.
full time job entail?
What else can I add? I'm running out of fingers, how many things I can
Yeah.
do. So I work for Gallo as a market development manager for our on-premise sales space, which is in the alcohol space, the CPG, consumer packaged goods space. And as a supplier, I help our distributor get all the sales education assets that they need. And I'm busy with that with and when it comes to sales and marketing. And so that's where my numbers come in again with that job. I just keep this thing handy. But I really enjoy it, and not to be repetitive, but who doesn't love a glass of Sauvignon Blanc at the end of the day as well?
I think I remember last time we were on where I was talking about New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc with you from the Marlborough region. So I do remember that. Final question before we go to the final 10. How do you balance it all?
I think I do well under pressure. I like being stressed sometimes because I like to perform, and I don't see it as too much on my plate. So I really do get minimal sleep, which I know is bad, but I think I do well with that. And that's just for this phase of my life. I can rest when I'm, 30, 35, but for right now in my 20s, I'm going to keep hustling. I'm going to keep grinding. And I don't know, I'm really inspired by people that are like that as well. I listen to other podcasts too where people say that the most busy people always are the most responsive, and I couldn't agree more because I'm always doing something, whether it's on my phone, my computer, emailing, and I make sure to make time for everything and be responsive. So if it's in a DM on the footwear Instagram of a customer asking about something, I'm trying to be there as quick as possible. If it's an email from my Gallo email, I'm trying to be there as quick as possible. Whatever it is, like I want to be responsive, and I like having that a little bit of chaos.
Just going to apologize if you can hear something in the background. It's because a gardener has chosen this time to start using his blower right outside the front door. I do have noise cancellation software, but that's why I was muting my mic. So basically, you take all this on to give yourself pressure because that's how you. I will say, by the way, when you said 30 or 35, you can relax. You made it sound like 30 or 35 is old. I mean, I can't imagine that you'll slow down that much at 30 or 35. You seem like you really enjoy being on the go.
I do. I guess by that age, I see myself more settled in more of a home life at that point. But until then, I'm going to grind it out.
Sounds good. Okay. All right. Well, Christell, before we go, we'll do the final 10 again because I can't remember what answers you gave last time. Although when you start answering them, I'm sure something will come to mind. Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to this time around?
Well, shout out to my dad, Mitchell, who hopefully is packing a size 9 clear shoe right now. I saw that order come through today.
Get on it, Dad.
Yeah. And besides that, hi to any of my friends that are watching. I briefly shouted out last time my best friends, Bree and Kaylee. They're my biggest supporters through all of this. And I'm so grateful for their support and their being those girl bosses in our group chat saying, "You got this, Christell," and us just having that camaraderie.
Very cool. Guys, I can see a bunch of you. I mean, got no shortage of supportive messages on the Instagram Live. If you do want to send Christell a question, jump over onto the YouTube. If you put a comment under there, I can bring it up and Christell can see it. But let's go through to the final 10. Number 1, what's your favorite word?
Ooh, this is a new question. Did you ask me this last time?
Unless I finished your interview last time different to the other 500 interviews I've done, I don't remember. But these are the same 10 I've been asking for a long time. So I don't remember. But yeah.
Okay.
Your favorite word?
Favorite word right now would have to be Cinderella. I don't know why that came to mind. I mean, I do know why, because a glass slipper, and that's my trademark with my shoe. But I think I'm having my Cinderella moment where I'm just transforming things in my life.
What's your least favorite word?
Ooh. Oh my gosh, I don't think I have. I'm actually, yes, I do. Itinerary. I cannot spell the word itinerary to save my life. My dad and I are going on a trip together this weekend, and I was texting him, "What's the itinerary?" And I spelt it so wrong that not even Siri could autocorrect it for me.
I spoke to someone, but I can't remember who it is, but she had misspelt the same word so many times that autocorrect had decided that was a correct spelling because I think it's itinerary, Itinerary, I think. Now my brain's thinking about it. Anyway, itinerary. Okay. Question 3 in life. What gets you excited? What turns you on?
Right now, reality television. That's my escape. I've been watching The Real Housewives of Rhode Island, and last night was their season 1 finale, and I'm so happy they got renewed for a season 2.
Well, I just have this hard time picturing you to take time off for anything, but the one thing that you take time off for is to watch reality TV. Can you explain that? Why reality TV is the one thing that you'll take time off for?
I think because I like watching other people's drama, and like I don't have like any tie to it, and I can escape from my life and my problems.
Right. Okay. Escapism. Great. Got it. All right. So that's what turns you on reality TV. What about what turns you off?
Slow walkers. If you're going to walk slow, especially at the airport, like get to the right side, let me pass on the left. If you're on the sidewalk and I'm trying to get to my Starbucks and you're just lollygagging looking at your phone, let me get around. And I mean, hello, we know this already. I'm 6'4". I walk faster than most people.
I seem to remember that answer from before because I have the exact same pet peeve. And I was going to say, it's not fair. When you're 6'4", of course, you're going to walk faster than the average person because your legs are, up to the sky. I was following a young kid yesterday in the shops and he was on his phone and he was this close to walking into the wall. I don't know if you've
Oh
ever
no.
seen this. I was just going, please do it, please do it. He was so engrossed in this and he's right there and then he goes, oh, wall, and then turns around. Anyway, number 5, what sound or noise do you love?
Well, right now the Harry Styles album. I love Harry Styles, so I've been keeping that on repeat.
What sound or noise do you hate?
The dryer, when you have something in the dryer that maybe has like a piece of metal on it and it keeps hitting the side as it goes around, because I have my whole monitor set up at home and so I can't deal with it.
If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
Ooh, I'd want to be able to understand every language in the world, like almost like my brain is a Google Translate.
Nice. Hopefully it's better than Google Translate because Google Translate is a bit hit and miss at times. Number 8, if you could have any job other than your own, what would you like to attempt?
Ooh, maybe I'd be Sarah Blakely for a day. She's the CEO of Spanx, and I mean, she was the fastest growing first woman billionaire, right? So I would love to see like her entrepreneur mindset for a day.
I don't know if I told you this last time, but I first saw Sarah Blakely. She competed on a reality TV show because Richard Branson briefly had Rebel Billionaire, and it was a reality TV show, and the winner got to work with him, I think, for a year or something like that. And she came first runner up. I don't know whatever happened to the winner, but she came first runner up there and then ended up being, she's a billionaire, right? I mean, she's done absolutely amazing in terms of having it, incredible women in business. She's right at the top of the hill. But yeah, okay. What job would you definitely not like to attempt?
Anything where I guess where you have to bend down a lot. I think it would hurt my back. Maybe stocking the bottom shelf at a grocery store. I'll stock the top shelf, but not the bottom. So that's the job I wouldn't do.
If I was to ask you a bit of a weird question, when you're in the supermarket or you're buying stuff, do you ever not buy something because it's on the bottom shelf?
Absolutely.
Because I'm tall as well, so people are always like trying to reach for the top, and then I'll help them and bring that down. But to get down there, it's a long way down. So sometimes you feel like, oh, I'll just get the stuff that's on the middle shelf. Do you ever have that thing that when you stand back up after having sat down or bent down for a while that you get dizzy?
Vertigo, absolutely.
Yeah.
It hits me a lot. Sometimes it's more intense. I have to sit down completely.
Yeah. No, sometimes it's almost to the point where I feel like I'm going to fall over. I don't know if it's just a tall person thing, but yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. I think I'd want him to tell me he's proud of me because I through doing all these things, I think humility is very important, and I don't handle praise or compliments well because of that humility. And so I think hearing it from the creator himself telling me that he has noticed the silent work and that he's proud of me would just be the perfect period at the end of my sentence.
I think humility is an admirable quality, especially in someone who's achieved a lot. So, Christell, we'll leave it there for round 2. Thank you so much for coming on.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me again.
Keep you on the line for just a sec whilst we hang up with the audience. But thanks everyone for watching live or on the replay, and we'll speak to you next time. Bye for now. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you're a competitive pageant girl and you're after some high-performance pageant coaching, make sure to come and check us out at thepageantproject.com, where you can start your journey for free. In the meantime, follow us on all our socials at The Pageant Project. Speak to you next time.